everyone, I'm Keely and this is Voice of a Creative, and today I'm going to do my 2019 year review. Now last year, at the end of 2018, I did a video like this where I kind of reviewed the year and went through my kind of top sewing patterns and how many things I'd made and other bits and pieces from the year, and I really enjoyed making that video and then also watching that video back because I think it's a really lovely kind of time capsule type video to see kind of how far I've come and things like that. So I wanted to film a video like that again this year. Now you will be getting two videos from me today. On the 1st of January you'll be getting this review video as well as one where I answer a few questions about the year. I didn't want to put them as one video because I didn't want either video to be too long, and also I wanted this to be a standalone video as a year summary. I will also be doing a resolutions video, but that will be over the next week or so. So I've got my trusty notebook again. This is the notebook that I've kept since I started recording things I'm sewing, and that was from the middle of 2018, so it's a year and a half and I'm not even halfway through yet, so I'm really pleased about that. And I've totted up lots of things in it to go through as part of this video. Now, one thing that I would have to say, one of the clear things of 2019, clear highlight of the year, was making friends with Tamlyn and Samantha and working together on the Sewing Patterns and Prints Challenge. So I thought I didn't take part in as many events and challenges and things this year as I did last year, but actually it was pretty much the same. Maybe I was feeling a little bit more comfortable going to events and things because I've already kind of done it before, but definitely feeling a lot more comfortable at sewing events and meeting new people and just kind of throwing myself out there, which is incredible. And I think my confidence has really improved with that. And I think it helps in part that I do this YouTube channel, so actually people feel like they know me a little bit, and so hopefully that makes it easier to come and approach me and talk to me because you kind of already know me a bit through this kind of thing. So really enjoyed that. So some of the events, so one of the things at the beginning of the year, I went to the Like So Amazing shop opening, and I'm so proud of Sarah for opening that shop, and I'm so pleased that it's a beautiful fabric shop in Bristol. Not only because I can buy fabrics there, but because she's started to build a bit more of a sewing community in Bristol, which is incredible. And I've been to lots of events over the year. I'm trying to go to every event that she runs, and those have been really fun, and it's been lovely to meet Bristol sewing people. So that's really been fantastic. In March I went to the Dressmakers Ball, so that was run by Crafty So-and-so in Leicester, and I met Tamlyn and Samantha in real life for the first time. That was really lovely, really enjoyed that. And I got to go to Crafty So-and-so as well. That was really nice to meet lots of other sewing people that I'd maybe briefly met before, but also see people again from events from last year, and do the catwalk as well. If you want to see my video on that, I will just link it below for you. Went to a sewing day at Like So Amazing. I also started to go to Bath Sews meetups. So Bath's not very far from Bristol, so and there is an Instagram which is Bath Sews, and they arrange lots of different events. So we started with going to a coffee shop, and we've also done fabric swaps, and there was also a sewing day which was also really fun, and there's lots of events planned for the new year which I haven't booked onto any yet, but I'm definitely going to, because I'm going to really push myself to basically say yes to sewing events because I really enjoy them. It's so fantastic to build relationships with people who have a similar interest to you, and I think that it's definitely something I want to do even more of. I also did the By Hand London Bodice Masterclass, which was incredible. If you can book onto that, definitely do it. I learned so much, and it was lovely to spend 2 days just really focused on kind of the craft of sewing and fitting rather than just kind of blitzing through making lots of garments. And I feel a lot more confident now in terms of my making of woven garments. And I did do a video on my kind of reaction to that class, which again I will link for you. I was lucky enough to get tickets to the Sewing Weekender, which is run by the Foldline and Charlotte English Girl at Home. and that was in Cambridge. I went last year and it was incredible, and it was fantastic again this year, made even better because I'd met people last year and then I kind of met them again this year, and I'd spoke to them throughout the year, so that was really lovely. I stayed with Tamlyn and Samantha, and that was great as well because I got to see them again in real life, not just talking it over the phone kind of thing. If I can go again for a third year in a row, it would be incredible. Like, it is so much fun to sew with other people, though I didn't really get much sewing done this year. But again, you can watch my sewing weekender video and I will link that as well. And then, yeah, so there were 2 more events with Like So Amazing, and then some Bath Sews events. So quite a few events, some further away, but mostly around the Bristol area. And I'm hoping to take part in more of those. I'm hoping in the next year that I get to attend another Sewisfaction event. It was really lovely to visit the shop I did last year, and they've got the new space that I will be able to visit. And I would also like to make my way to London a little bit more. I only went once this year, and see Sew Me Sunshine as well. And hopefully, I mean, I'm not sure, so I'm a bit worried to go into London on my own, but go to the new craft house, maybe one of their parties. So, sewing challenges. Now, I didn't take part in as many challenges this year because we were running one. So the Sewing Patterns and Prints Challenge has been absolutely fantastic this year. So a year-long challenge with 11 months, all with different themes, and it was fantastic to see everybody's makes. I've really enjoyed all the months. It is a lot of hard work to run a sewing challenge, and I really appreciate all the people that do it kind of all the time and each year and things like that. So that was really great. Obviously I didn't enter that because we were running it and we're just about to finish the last month, and then we'll do the grand prize draw. But it's been really great to see people's makes and see how people respond to the themes, and I think that more than anything has really helped people because it will help you choose a fabric from your stash, which I think is really cool. So at the beginning of the year I had conversations with Adele, who is Button and Pip, and we came up with the hashtag UK Teachers Who Sew, which has been fantastic to find basically teachers that sew, yes, in the UK, but across other places as well. And that's been really lovely to see the people that balance the, well, stressful job of teaching along with sewing. And there seems to be quite a few people that are kind of involved in that, so that was fantastic. I also really enjoyed the hashtag Dress Like a Crayon. So that's where you wear kind of different tones of one colour. That was fantastic. I took part in the Great British Sew Along Challenge run by Sewisfaction, so I did some cool, did some lovely makes for that, and also did So Many Questions, which was on YouTube. I did BP Sewvember and actually managed to complete it. I think it was only a week long, so it was a bit easier this year. And did 1 week, 1 pattern, and I chose the Elliot Sweater, and I will insert the pictures of the things I wore that week. It was really good to use that pattern because it was a bit of a challenge to put the different outfits together. At the beginning of the year I took part in the Bright Sewing Challenge, which was run by Pink Coat Club and the Unfinished Seamstress, and that really spurred me on through the year to try and pick some brighter fabrics, although I'm very much still into the kind of darker colours, but I do have some brights now. And I did try to take part in Sew Yourself Sustainable, which was run by the new craft house, and that's something that I definitely want to consider a little bit more coming into the new year. And lastly, I took part in the Pattern Swap 2019 run by the Zipperfoot. The difference with that is I did swap patterns, but I didn't actually make anything. I think I found that kind of thing a little bit overwhelming this year. Don't know why it's different to last year, but slightly different. This has been an awesome year for my YouTube channel. So I had my 1 year birthday, about halfway through, the 30th of May. And then I also hit 1,000, 2,000 and 3,000 subscribers within the year, which is amazing. Thank you so much for your support with that. Other great things that happened, I got my new sewing machine. So after sewing on my old machine for 7 years, I got my Atelier 6, the Janome machine, and it's been really lovely learning to use that one. I also got my Cricut Maker, which you can see behind me. And again, although I'm using it for card making and other crafts, I will be getting it involved with a few more of my sewing projects in the next year, especially with doing vinyl add-ons with my Easy Press that I just got. It sounds ridiculous, but this is the first year that I've had AO patterns printed at net printer, and I don't think I'll ever go back. I definitely prefer not piecing A4 patterns together and just sending them off and receiving them back, even though it is a bit more costly. I managed to reach 1,000 followers on Instagram, and I'm nearly up to 2,000, but not quite, so that will be a 2020 goal. I got my lovely new studio space. I feel so lucky to have it, and actually has really helped my productivity, and just I know I come in here to get stuff done, which is awesome as well. And I went to London and managed to visit Liberty, Sew Over It and Ray Stitch as well. So lots of great events during the year. Again, pattern tests, I didn't do many this year. I did a pattern test for the Heidi dress for wearable patterns. So my tea arrived right in the middle of me filming this, so this is a little bit later. So on to the makes for the year. So last year I made 80 garments, so that was 2018, and I only recorded for part of the year, since April till December. So slight difference with this year. So this year I sewed 67 items. Then overall last year I did 57 for myself and 23 for others. This year I did 12 for others and 56 for me. So garments in my wardrobe, I've kind of gained the same amount. Although when you look at the individual garments, some of them I don't have anymore because I gave those items away to other people after I'd maybe worn them a couple of times, or I decided after I'd made it I didn't actually like it, although it was for me, or it just didn't suit me, or whatever. So I've had a lot less productive year this year, but in a way I've made more complicated things. So of course making a denim jacket, my Audrey jacket, took hours and hours and hours, and I made a test version for that. And the same with some other makes as well. I finished off some jeans this year. And so I think, yes, I made less things, but I probably spent the same amount of time sewing. I made 67 things in total. And the top sewing pattern that I used, so the top garment that I made, was the Freya top and sweater. So I made one dress version and then quite a few t-shirts and then long sleeved t-shirt versions. And that was 10 in total. So quite a few of those. I had that pattern on my make 9 for 2019 and I managed to make 10. So I feel like that was relatively successful. All of them have this kind of hacked neckline, but different length sleeves, and I've made them in kind of cotton jerseys and French terries as well. So a variety of different fabrics. The second most sewn pattern was the Elliot Sweater by Helen's Closet. I made 8 of those. So I did 2 dress hacks, I did a couple of t-shirt hacks, and then also some of the sweaters as well. So again, a whole mixture of different ones. The third most sewn pattern was the Molly top by Sew Over It. So I only started sewing that partway through the year, but I made quite a few of them up quite quickly, and I have got a review video of that pattern, which I will link below. And I also made 3 of those for my mum during the course of the year as well. So, but really lovely pattern, really works well. Yeah, really lovely pattern, really works well. Nice, simple, basic for your wardrobe. So already we've got 3 jersey t-shirts as my top 3 patterns. Then coming in at number 4 is my self-drafted jersey dress pattern. I made 5 this year, which I started to notice in my wardrobe. So I've started to notice that I haven't got many dresses. I'm struggling a little bit with what I'm wearing to work. I'm a bit bored of the dresses I have. So definitely need to be making some more jersey dresses to wear to work and like around on weekends and stuff. The 5th most sewn pattern was the Frankie top by Tilly and the Buttons. I made 3 of those, but there were some other patterns that I sewed 1 or 2 of. And I think that's the difference this year. I sewed a lot more variety of patterns, which is really lovely to see, and also some woven patterns, which is different to last year. I didn't sew as many of those last year. So in my top 5, I've basically got jersey, which is very representative of my wardrobe, and also mostly tops. So that kind of tells me that next year I need to be making things that aren't tops or sweaters or t-shirts. I should be making maybe skirts, dresses, and the biggest hurdle, hopefully trousers as well. So top pattern companies for my makes for the year. First was Helen's Closet. So I made 13 Helen's Closet makes. and that was the Elliot Sweater. I did the Donovan skirt. I made one Blackwood cardigan, as well as a York pinafore as well. So quite a variety there, and I did make my Yanta pinafore or overalls as well. Second up was self-drafted, so I made my mum quite a few self-drafted tops and then my self-drafted dresses. So still, that's coming in relatively high, but it's just because it's a pattern that I know fits and is an easy make. I know I can make both of those items. My mum's self-drafted top within an hour, and my self-drafted dresses an hour and a half if I really focus on it. Number 3 was Tilly and the Buttons. So there were 10 Tilly and the Buttons makes across the year. And then Sew Over It as well. The Molly tops really topped that up. And lastly was True Bias. So there was a few makes, including the Hudson pants and the Shelby dress. And then I did this last year, which I quite enjoyed. I had a look at the fabric companies I'd used, and I did notice a huge shift in this year to more indie fabric companies. Dotted around quite a lot, so I've purchased from a lot of different indie fabric companies and made things out of those fabrics. But last year, a lot of the fabrics that I was making from came from Fabricland, eBay, the Nylon Shop. So yes, some local fabric shops, but also just online businesses and of course Fabricland. Whereas this year, there's been a slight shift. The top used fabric is Minerva Crafts. Now, that's a slightly different one because they gave me the fabrics for free in exchange for blog posts. And so, yes, I did use their fabrics a lot, but obviously I was doing the blog posts. Slightly different approach with that one. But still, that was the most used fabrics from Minerva Crafts. Also, if you get a fabric for a blog post, you have to make something fairly quickly. Whereas if you get fabric from an indie fabric shop, you can put that in your stash and things like that. So that's why I've used those kind of more frequently, because I've used them quite quickly. I mean, Take a Guess is like so amazing. So obviously visiting the shop and seeing on Instagram and things like that, I've made a lot more things from fabrics from Like So Amazing. So that is my second most used fabrics. Third is the Nylon Shop, again just because I've made quite a few things out of their sweater knits and things like that, and especially the cotton jerseys as well. They have a really lovely selection there, and it's my closest fabric shop, so I do go there fairly frequently, and it is a shop that I've been to since I was a child, so there's a element of nostalgia there. Fourth was John Lewis and Fabricland. Again, these are things that I can visit in Bristol, so that's what's really interesting. Is most of the shops listed, well, 3 of the shops listed are ones that I actually can go to a physical fabric shop, which is really interesting because I always thought buying things online, I was quite happy with that, but it seems like I'm actually edging more towards actually going to fabric shops, which is interesting. And then lastly, well, I've got 3: Stoff and Steel, Pin and Sew, and Guthrie Garney. But that was, I think I made things out of like 2 fabrics, and so that's why they're there. So really interesting to kind of do a little assessment of my fabrics, most used patterns and things like that. I think it's really fun to do that to kind of sum up the year. Overall, I feel like 2019 has been a fantastic year for me for sewing. I think I've made some really fantastic makes, but what I have noticed, like looking through all the things I've made, some of them aren't in my wardrobe anymore, so it means I haven't really been thinking too much about my overall style, and so that is something that I would really like to do a bit more, thinking, right, does this fit into my wardrobe? What else do I need in my wardrobe? And thinking along those lines, rather than kind of more off the cuff, just choosing random things. And this also definitely shows me that I need to branch out in my pattern choices a little bit more, rather than just making jersey makes, but also rather than just making jersey tops. Another thing with 2019 is I have been suffering quite significantly with stress at work and anxiety, and I think that has affected my sewing in some ways, in terms of I've still been productive, but I feel like it's just put a different edge on things, which is definitely something that I am looking to work on in 2020. And so that will help to form some of my resolutions that I'm going to kind of put together and think about. So look out for my resolutions video coming up to see what my plans are for 2020. Thank you so much for supporting me this year. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please press the thumbs up and subscribe if you want to hear more from me. Goodbye!